मंगलजनक ओम अज्ञानम तिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै श्री नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वरूपं कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरु वैष्णवं च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथं तं सत्तं साधुवेदं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता शिवशाखावतं च नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाशदेशधारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपेकांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंचा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च च कृपा च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय श्री प्रभुपाद जय। यस स्वाति माता जी।
Hare Krishna. Thus, although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu agreed to hear Vedanta from Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, he simply went on hearing it for many days but didn't ask any questions. Finally, Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya said to him, "My dear boy, you are hearing, but you do not ask any questions. Why is this? Is it that you can't understand? What is the reason you are silent?" Chaitanya Mahaprabhu answered, "Yes, I understand, but I am silent because you are explaining the Vedanta Sutra in a speculative way. Therefore, I am simply listening to the verses of Vedanta Sutra, but not actually listening to you." Thus, he indirectly said, "You are explaining the meaning foolishly." Later, he said, "The verses of Vedanta Sutra are just like sunshine, but your explanations are like clouds that cover them."
हरे कृष्ण। एक मिनट कहाँ से पढ़ने में
No one needs a lamp.
Okay. No one needs a lamp to see the sun. Everyone can see it, but if the sun is covered by a cloud, it is very difficult to see. Similarly, the Vedanta Sutra is like the sun, but the Mayavada interpretations covers the real meaning. The Mayavadis never accept the direct meaning. Even big political leaders who are influenced by the Mayavadi's philosophy cover the meaning of the Vedic literature by speculating. Kurukshetra means this, and Dharmakshetra means that. Our policy, therefore, should be to hear the original as it is. Then it will be effective. Sarvanam Kirtanam Vishnu. Vishnu should be heard as he is. Then one can meditate upon Vishnu and remember him. Smranti. In this way, one becomes jubilant. Anandanti. The word the word Nandana means Nandana pleasing means pleasing, and one comes in touch with the reservoir of pleasure in this way.
Therefore, those who are cultivating Krishna consciousness have to hear about Krishna, speak about Krishna, and deal only in relationship with Krishna. By this process, Kunti Devi tells the Lord, one will one day come to see you. And when one sees God Krishna, what is the effect? Bhav Parvaha Paranam. The word Parvaha means current. When there are very forceful currents in the river and some animals is thrown in, it will be washed away. Similarly, we are being washed away by the currents of the material nature, which come one after another like big waves in the Pacific Ocean, because we are under the grip of the three modes of material nature: Prakrit, Kriyamani, Gunai, Karmani, Sarvasam. We are being washed away. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Mayara vase yacha bhese. You are being washed away, carried away by the currents of material nature. These are the currents of the hunger and thirst, of birth, death, and old age, the currents of illusion. We are spirit souls, but because we have been put into the material ocean, the currents are carrying us away. However, if we engage 24 hours a day in hearing, chanting, and seriously serving Krishna, the current will stop. History is the Shabda Prabhuji.
Okay. Where will the current stop? Kunti Devi says to Lord Padam Bhujan. Padam Bhujan. It will stop at a lotus feet. One has to learn how to see Krishna at lotus feet and offer a little preaching and chanting will fall at the lotus feet of the Lord, and then this current of material world life will stop.
Swati Mataji.
जी मेरी स्क्रीन पे यहाँ से पढ़ना ना देयर में भी
हाँ.
There may be currents in the ocean, but if one gets a good boat, one can cross over these currents very nicely. As mentioned in another verse of Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.58, Samasrita ye pada pallava plavam. A lotus petal is something like a small boat, and therefore this verse says that if one takes shelter of the petal boat of the lotus feet of Krishna, the great ocean of birth and death becomes as insignificant as the water contained in the hoofprint of a car. In India, during the rainy season, the roads become muddy, and when the cows and calves walk, they create holes in which water collects. But of course, one can easily jump over a dozen of such puddles at any time. Similarly, although for others, the world of birth and death is like a great ocean, for a devotee it is like such a puddle. Bhavam buddhir vatsa padam, and he can jump over it very easily. In this way, the devotee attains parampadam, the supreme abode. Then, what about this material world? Padam padam yad vipadam. This is a place not for devotees but for people who are suffering. Therefore, Kunti Devi suggests this Krishna consciousness is the medicine for your suffering. Take it and be happy.
We are starting with the next chapter 20, full cylinder. Api, Meghna, will you able to read this?
No, you only do.
Api adya nastavam sava kirte prabho jihasi swit surdo nujivina yesham na kanchanyad vabda padam bujat parayanam rajuso yujatasam. Yes, Meghna Mataji.
Oh my Lord, you have executed all duties yourself. Are you leaving us today? Though we are completely dependent on your mercy and have no else to protect. No one else to protect us. Now, when all kings are at enmity with us, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.37. The Pandavas are the most fortunate people because, with all good luck, they were entirely dependent on the mercy of the Lord. In the material world, to be dependent on the mercy of someone else is the utmost sign of the misfortune. But misfortune. But in the case of our transcendental relation with the Lord, it is the most fortunate case when we can live completely dependent on Him. The material disease is due to thinking of becoming independent of everything, but the cruel material nature does not allow us to become independent. The false attempt to become independent of the stringent laws of nature is known as material advancement of experimental knowledge. The whole world is moving on this false attempt at becoming independent. Hare Krishna.
His Grace the Shafta Prabhuji.
Sorry, okay, The whole material world. यहाँ से
Yes, Prabhuji, यहीं से पढ़ना.
okay. Last page of paragraph खत्म हो गया था. The whole material world is moving on this false attempt at becoming independent of the laws of nature. Beginning from Ravana, who wanted to prepare a direct staircase to the planets of heaven, down to the present age, they are trying to overcome the laws of nature. They are trying now to approach distant planetary system by electronic mechanical power. But the highest goal of human civilization is to work hard under the guidance of the Lord and become completely dependent on Him. The highest achievement of perfect civilization is to work with valor, but at the same time depend completely on the Lord. The Pandavas were the ideal executors of the standard of civilization. Undoubtedly, they were completely dependent on the goodwill of Lord Sri Krishna, but they were not ideally parasites of the Lord. They were all highly qualified both by personal character and by physical activity. Still, they always looked for the mercy of the Lord because they knew that every living being is dependent by constitutional position. The perfection of life is therefore to become dependent on the will of the Lord instead of becoming falsely independent in the material world. Those who try to become falsely independent of the Lord are called anath or without any guardian, whereas those who are completely dependent on the will of the Lord are called sanath. San, san, sanath, or those having someone to protect them. Therefore, we must try to be sanath so that we can always be protected from the unfavorable conditions of material existence. By the deluding power of the external material nature, we forget that the material condition of life is the most undesirable perplexity. The Bhagavad Gita 7.19 therefore direct us that after many births, one fortunate person becomes aware of the fact that Vasudev Krishna is all in all and that the best way of leading one's life is to surrender unto him completely. That is a sign of a Mahatma. All the members of the Pandu family were Mahatmas in household life. Maharaj Yudhishthir was the head of this Mahatmas and Queen Kunti Devi was the mother. The lessons of the Bhagavad Gita and all the Puranas, specifically the Bhagavad Puran, are therefore inevitably connected with the history of Pandava Mahatmas. For them, separation from the Lord was just like the separation of a fish from water. Srimati Kunti Devi therefore felt such separation like a thunderbolt, and the whole prayer of the queen is to try to persuade the lords to stay with them. After the battle of Kurukshetra, although the inimical kings were killed, their sons and grandsons were still there to deal with the Pandavas. It is not only the Pandavas who were put into the condition of enmity. All of us are always in such a condition, and the best way of living is to become completely dependent on the will of the Lord and thereby overcome all difficulties of material existence. Hare Krishna.
After the battle of Kurukshetra ended and the Pandavas were established in their kingdom, Krishna, before going back to Dwarka, was taking leave of his aunt and bidding her farewell. It was at that time that Kunti offered these prayers. Now she directly asked, is it a fact that after finishing your duty, you're going away and leaving us alone? This is the devotee's position. Kunti Devi says, yes, yacham nat chanbata chanyad bhavatam padam bhujat. We have no means of protection other than your lotus feet. This is full surrender. Swati Mataji.
In the process of surrender, Sharanagati, there are 6 items. The first is that one should completely depend on Krishna, and the next is that one should accept everything favorable for Krishna's service. Anukulyasa sankalpaha. Anukulyena Krishna Silanam Bhaktiruttama. A symptom of first class bhakti devotional service is that one accepts everything favorable for that service. Another item of surrender is pratikulya vivarjanma, rejecting everything unfavorable to the procedures of Krishna consciousness. Sometimes the spiritual master said, do not do this, forbidding something unfavorable, and he also recommends that which is favorable, do this, chant Hare Krishna, full surrender. Therefore, entails giving up unfavorable things and accepting that which is favorable. Anukulyasya sankalpaha pratikulya vivarjanma. Furthermore, one should believe with full faith Krishna will give me protection, and one should count oneself as one of the servants of Krishna. There are some of the items of Sharanagati, full surrender.
Now Kunti Devi says, my dear Krishna, if you think that we are well established now, that we have our kingdom back, and if you therefore want to leave us, that is not very good proposal. We are not free yet because we have killed so many kings, and their friends and relatives are planning to come fight with us again. So don't think that we are free from all dangers. We are not. And we have no protection other than your lotus feet. This is our position. Thus, she indirectly says to Krishna, do not leave us. Don't think that we are safe now. Without your protection, we are always unsafe.
His Grace the Shuddha Prabhuji.
This should be the position of a devotee. We should know that we are actually in danger in this material world. Maya illusion may catch us at any time. As soon as we are a little inattentive, thinking, now I have done my duty, let me take a little rest. No, there is no rest. We must be always alert.
There is a verse in which Srila Rup Goswami says, Avyartha Kalatvam. A devotee should be very much careful to see whether his time is being spent unnecessarily. He should ask himself, am I now engaged in Maya's service or Krishna's service? This is a symptom of an advanced devotee. Nam Gane Sadaruchi. Such a devotee is never tired of chanting, dancing, or singing. The word Sada means always, and Ruchi means taste. A devotee always has a taste for chanting Hare Krishna. Oh, very nice. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is the taste. This is taste. Of course, this taste takes time to awaken. But when Rupa Goswami was chanting this, he was thinking, I have only one tongue and 2 ears. What can I appreciate of chanting? If I could have millions of tongues and trillions of ears, then I could relish something by chanting and hearing. Of course, we should not imitate him, but the devotees of the Krishna consciousness movement must at least be very careful to complete their 16 rounds, their minimum amount of prescribed chanting. Nama Gane Sada Ruchi. We have to increase our taste for singing and chanting Hare Krishna. Swati Mataji.
Furthermore, we should also increase our inclination to live in a place where Krishna lives. Pritistad vasati stale. In the vision of higher devotees, Krishna actually lives everywhere, but actually we are in a lower condition. We should know that for us, Krishna lives in the temple. Because we do not see Krishna everywhere, we should come to the temple to see Krishna, who kindly appears there by his mother in a manner in which we can see him.
Krishna has a completely spiritual body, Satsit Ananda Vigraha, but we do not have the eyes to see what a spiritual body is. We are accustomed to see material gross things, jada. We can see stones, metal, wood, and other elements, and because Krishna is everything, to be visible to our imperfect eyes, he appears in the form of these elements. It is not that Krishna is stone or that we are worshipping a stone. We are worshipping Krishna, but we cannot see anything except Krishna, except material elements like stone. Krishna kindly appears in the form of carved from stone. Therefore, one should be very much inclined to live within the circle of the temple environment in which the form of Krishna is worshipped.
Yes, great.
Moreover, one should always think oneself dependent on Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. One should always think, without Krishna, my life is useless and I am in danger. Therefore, while offering her prayers to Krishna, Kunti says, Krishna, you are thinking that now we are safe, but I don't think we are safe. We are always in danger. If you think we are safe, who will give us protection? We have no protection other than your lotus feet. We are encircled by so many enemies because the sons of those who have died in the fight are now preparing to fight with us.
Ishu Prabhuji.
Now, although Krishna had come to Kunti Devi to take the dust off the feet of his superior, his aunt Kunti Devi addressed him as Prabhu, the Lord, not not as her beloved nephew. She knows, although Krishna is playing with the part of my although Krishna is playing the part of my nephew, my brother's son, he is still the supreme master.
Yes, please continue, Prabhuji. Ishu Prabhu, please continue.
The symptoms of a really Krishna conscious person are that he knows that the person is the supreme master. He always thinks himself in danger without Krishna. And by taking shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, he always feels safe. Krishna says, Kaunteya, pra- just a minute. Kaunteya, pratijana na me bhakti prasanyati. You may declare to the world that my devotee is never vanquished. Bhagavad Gita 9.31. If one becomes a pure devotee of Krishna, there is no question of danger. Of course, Krishna gives protection to everyone. For without his protection, no one can live even for a single moment. But one should not think, if Krishna is giving protection to everyone, what is the use of becoming a devotee? A kings give protections to everyone of his citizen. For that For that is his duty, but he specially protects his own circle of men. This is not unnatural. If one directly engages in the service of the president, when one is in some difficulty, he is specifically protected. Although the president gives protection to all the citizens, though who personally associate with him, giving him service, receives some special consideration. That is not actually partiality. That is natural. When a gentleman loves all children but has special love for his own children, no one will say, oh, why are you loving your own children more than others? No, that is natural. Similarly, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Samoham Sarve Bhuteshu. I am equal to everyone. Krishna's being God, loves everyone because everyone is part of him. Nonetheless, he takes special care of his devotees. Therefore, he says, Kaunteya Pratijanaha Name Bhakta Prayasati. My devotees never vanquish. Hare Krishna.
Should we continue or we can stop as it is 7:25? Swati Mataji.
You can stop.
Okay. Anyone want to share the realization and anyone wants to share? Swati Mataji.
हाँ जी माता जी। मुझे लास्ट वाला पैराग्राफ भी अच्छा लगा जिसमें प्रभुपाद जी बता रहे हैं कि मतलब माय डिवोटी विल नेवर बी वैंक्विश्ड। तो और भगवान स्पेशल केयर देते हैं अपने डिवोटीज की। तो इट इज नॉट लाइक दैट कि कई बार ये होता है कि भगवान तो सबकी केयर करते हैं,
माता जी आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है।
हरे कृष्णा।
माता जी आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही।
अच्छा, अभी आ रही है?
हाँ जी हाँ जी।
हाँ जी, तो मुझे वो पॉइंट अच्छा लगा कि स्पेशल केयर देते हैं भगवान, सबकी केयर कर रहे हैं बट अपने डिवोटीज की ज्यादा करते हैं। जैसे प्रभुपाद जी ने एग्जांपल देके भी बताया है कि पेरेंट्स जो होते हैं, कोई फादर है या मदर, अपने बच्चों की सबको ही मतलब सब बच्चों की करते हैं बट अपने बच्चों की वो नेचुरल है कि वो ज्यादा होती है, नेचुरल आता है। और वो पॉइंट भी मुझे अच्छा लगा जिसमें कुंती देवी बोल रही थी कि जब भगवान जा रहे हैं द्वारका जाते हैं तो उस टाइम पे जब कुंती देवी बोल रही हैं कि हम अभी भी प्रोटेक्टेड नहीं है, हम सेफ नहीं है विदाउट यू। वो मतलब एज अ डिवोटी हमें भी फील करना चाहिए कि कितने दीनहीन हालत में हम लोग हैं विदाउट कृष्णा। और एक चीज और अच्छी लगी थी कि जब उसमें प्रभुपाद बोल रहे थे कि मैं मतलब कृष्ण, हम लोगों जो प्योर डिवोटी होगा उसको तो हर जगह भगवान का पता है, वो फीलिंग भी है एंड ही कैन सी द गॉड एवरीवेयर। बट हम लोगों के लिए वो कंडीशन नहीं है जो प्योर डिवोटीज के लिए है, तो वी शुड गो टू टेम्पल और उस एनवायरनमेंट में एक्चुअली हमें रहना चाहिए टू फील द प्रेजेंस ऑफ गॉड। या दैट्स इट।
थैंक यू माता जी। मेघना।
इसमें और हमने पढ़ा था कि जैसे कि काऊ चलती है तो वो नीचे पडल्स बना देती है, तो कोई भी इंसान उस पडल में गिर सकता है बट एक डिवोटी वो पडल को बहुत आराम से पार कर सकता है। तो वही चीज है कि अगर आप एसोसिएशन में आएंगे, आप कृष्ण कॉन्शियसनेस में आएंगे, तो आप इस जो लाइफ एंड डेथ का चक्र है आप इससे निकल सकते हैं। आप लाइफ की हर्डल्स आराम से क्रॉस कर सकते हैं। आपको कृष्ण की प्रोटेक्शन मिलेगी, आपको भक्तों का संग मिलेगा, आपको हर तरफ गाइडेंस मिलेगी। बट अगर आप एक नॉर्मल मतलब डिवोटी नहीं है, जैसे कि सब नॉर्मल है, तो फिर आप वो पडल में भी गिर सकते हो और आप फिर वहां पे अटक भी सकते हैं। वो वाला पॉइंट मेरे को अच्छा लगा, लास्ट चैप्टर में था, बिल्कुल लास्ट पैराग्राफ में।
हिज ग्रेस द शिफ्ता प्रभु जी।
इसमें तो जी मुझे अच्छा लगा था जहाँ पे प्रभुपाद जी बता रहे थे कि हमें अब कैसे पांडवास को फॉलो करना चाहिए। मतलब हम उनके लेवल पर तो नहीं है बट स्टिल वी कैन फॉलो। लाइक पांडवास जो थे वो मतलब काफी मतलब हर चीज में निपुण थे, जैसे कि पावरफुल थे, इंटेलिजेंट थे और हर चीज में मतलब सारे गुण गुण थे उनके अंदर, बट स्टिल दे नीड द मर्सी ऑफ कृष्णा। है ना, हमेशा उन्हें मतलब हमेशा वो कृष्ण को याद करते थे और उनसे मर्सी के लिए प्रार्थना करते रहते थे कि कृष्ण हमें बचाइए इस संकट से। तो ये हम भी मतलब हम खुद से अपनी प्रॉब्लम्स यहाँ पे मतलब मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में मैनेज नहीं कर सकते, तो हमें भी हमेशा कृष्ण की हेल्प लेनी चाहिए, हमें हमेशा कृष्ण को याद करना चाहिए। और सिर्फ जब प्रॉब्लम्स आते हैं तभी नहीं, हमेशा ही हमें याद करना चाहिए। तो ये भी बता रहे थे प्रभुपाद जी की दे आर द परफेक्ट एग्जीक्यूटर ऑफ द फिलोसफी। जैसे हमारी फिलोसफी है ना कि हमें अपना ड्यूटीज एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज भी निभानी है और उसके साथ साथ कृष्ण को भी ध्यान में रखना है। तो उसके जो पांडव है वो परफेक्टली एग्जीक्यूटर हैं, तो हमेशा मतलब जो भी उनकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है उसको उन्होंने निभाया भी है और हमेशा कृष्ण का चिंतन भी किया। तो यस, अगर हम इस तरह से करेंगे तो अंत नारायण स्मृति, तो हम अंत काल में नारायण को स्मरण कर सकते हैं। So yeah, that is the perfection of life. Yes, we should follow Pandavas. Yes, that's it, Madhavi.
थैंक यू प्रभु जी। उदित,
Hare
you want to
Krishna.
share anything? I think we can stop here. Prabhu ji, can you please say the prayers?
Yes, Madhavi, Pancha Kalpati Vishwa के पास अतिथि नाम पावने तो वैष्णव जन नमः श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
जय।
जय। थैंक यू सो मच माता जी।
हरे कृष्णा, हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा।